There's like nothing like that good care in your friendships.
That nurturing female vibe.
Why are you so obsessed with talking about sex? He was like, sex. Hello, welcome back to Sextras.
Where we talk about sex and all the extras.
I'm Honey, and I was a really shy kid.
Okay, I feel you. I wasn't personally that shy, but shout out to all the shy kids out there, I guess. Okay, hi, I'm Maria, and I have a postcard collection, a pin collection, and a keychain collection.
A keychain?
Yeah, a keychain. I haven't updated that one in a while, but I have so many fucking keychains.
Interesting. I feel like I've never seen any. Prove it.
Yeah, it's because they're all in this bucket. Next time you come over, I'll show you.
Okay.
I used to put them all in my bag, and it was just this huge keychain. Like, literally, it was like a ball, and it would just like dangle on the side of my bag. It was like literally nearly half as heavy as my bag that I
That's
took
so
to school.
annoying.
Yeah. And like my badges are also so annoying because I put them in my most recent bag. They like literally I kept losing them, so I had to take them off. It's really upset me. I've lost quite a few.
Oh.
But yeah, I haven't updated any of these collections in a while because I mostly kind of
Where have you
buy
been?
postcards and badges when I travel. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, sad times.
Very
but
sad.
soon I will continue. Anyway, should we get on to what we're actually talking about today, which is female friendships, or just kind of friendships in general, but I guess maybe we'll talk a little bit more about female friendships or whatever because it's Women's History Month and all. We want to keep it pretty women focused, and obviously we're women, so yeah.
And we're friends.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like neither of us have that many male friends. I mean, we do more now, but
Yeah.
growing up.
But we'll get into it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, also, please excuse the fact that I literally can't talk because I have a cold, so if you're wondering why I sound sick, it's because I am sick. We did 2 segments this week. Very exciting. So we asked first of all what the perks of female friendship are. And the first one is talking about dating is 1,000 times easier with my girls.
I agree and disagree because I think you can get different perspectives from different, you can kind of get both sides.
When I was living with guys, it was like helpful to be like, what do you think about this? Is this a normal thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they kind of tell you.
Yeah, I always want that. I always want that input.
Yeah, and then it's also like really validating if you're dating a guy and they like do something stupid and then you ask your male friends and they're like, what the fuck? And you're like, yes, it's not just me.
Yeah. But then also there's like so many things that I wouldn't really necessarily bring up with guys that I would with girls.
I guess.
Well, I don't know, maybe not, but like there are things that I probably would get into maybe a bit more detail with my girlfriends or something like that, you know what I mean? And they would and they get shit more, like things that I worry about, they're like, oh yeah, like I understand. Whereas like guy friends sometimes are like, what do you mean, why is this even a big deal? And you're like, no, like you don't get it. Sometimes you need that validation.
And sometimes I get the vibe that if we're talking about sex in front of guys, they just get a bit bored, like they're just not enjoying it as much as we are. We're like, yeah, like this and this, and we're like, so what do you think? I don't know. Even though I feel like it should technically be the other way around by society standards, but whatever.
Well, I don't know, I think it depends on the person, because like sometimes people get really into the conversation and some people get put off. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I do get what the submission is saying. Like there are some aspects that for sure it's like way easier. But the next one is, we are all great at thinking ahead about stuff, which kind of like flies over my boyfriend's head, to be honest.
I just don't understand what happens in guys' brains. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, why is it that you have to explain everything like 80 times for them to understand? It's like having a child. It's so weird. Girls are just on another level. And, I know there's going to be some people that are like, oh, that's sexist, blah, blah, blah. That's like generalizing. And obviously, yeah, it's generalizing. But in my experience...
Yeah. I lived in a house with all boys, and like I'm not by any means like super responsible or super tidy, like nothing like that, but it just ended up with kind of like me having to take charge and just like be like, okay guys, this is what we have to do, like, because they kind of just so left competent. It, as the fucking submission said, they just don't think ahead, and they just kind of are like, oh yeah, let's see what happens, so then you have to fucking step in.
They can't think more than like 20 minutes ahead of time. Or like 2 minutes. They're just living life. I mean, that's goals, to be honest. I kind of aspire to be just like living 100%, in the moment that
like,
much.
I wish.
My brain's like, okay, 2 months from now, what are we going to be doing? Yeah, so we feel you. The next one is, we can talk about really TMI things without it being weird. Yeah, again, I kind of don't really get why it is weird, because... I'm guessing the men are having sex too, like your guy friends. Maybe it's kind of like weird vibes because they might think that you're trying to hit on them or like proposition them. I don't know.
No, but then also like maybe period things, for instance. Maybe I'd be like getting into detail with a friend, being like, oh, I had this really weird blood clot, like it looked kind of this color, like what do you think, have you ever had that? Do you know what I mean? Like things like that. You can talk about that stuff because they get it, and it's not even that like maybe your guy friends wouldn't even be grossed out by that and stuff, like maybe you have really evolved male friends, but
like a new level of evolution.
But like you just wouldn't get into those things, I think, like even, I don't know, because a lot of TMI things can be like bodily, and I feel like you'd go more to your girlfriends for that, or like your mum, or like a girl, because they would understand, you know?
I just wish it wasn't a thing. Like, why does it matter? It's so stupid.
Yeah, but just from like a relatability aspect, I think.
Yeah, I get the relatability, but I wish it was just like open. I feel like if we talked more about it to guys, maybe they would be more understanding, because the times that I have talked about stuff like that in front of guys, they're like, wow, really? I didn't even know that. So then imagine everyone just knew, and then you could just talk about it. It wasn't some massive secret, like, oh, by the way, girls have a vagina, girls have periods.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I guess it's also closeness sometimes, because like this is kind of weird. I just kind of thought of a weird thing, like something to do with, let's say I was like, oh, I just got this like new vibrator, and like would I really go into like really a lot of detail with like a girlfriend? Like, yeah, maybe, but like maybe it's just because I'm closer, because like I wouldn't necessarily to like one of my guy best friends, like I wouldn't tell him about that, like that would be really weird. Whereas like maybe I would tell Will, but maybe it's because he's gay. Like, is that a factor?
Yeah, but isn't that weird because you're bi, so you can only tell gay men who aren't interested in sleeping with you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's just something that is kind of like they don't need to know, but I guess no one really needs to know.
I need to know.
Yeah, no, but I completely agree that it's I definitely, there's like, you can go way more TMI with girls, I personally feel, but I think maybe that's because I feel closer with girls, or like the girl friends in my life are closer to me.
I just had a thought, actually, kind of going back to the thinking ahead, just like guys' psyche. I think genuinely, again, a massive generalization, guys just see what's on the surface level. They're just like, that's it. Whereas girls read like so much deeper into stuff, and that's why we love to gossip. We want to know all the details, you know? I mean, I'm not saying every girl has to do this, obviously, but generally. So maybe that's why we kind of just have I mean, I'm not saying we have a deeper connection, but we get deeper into the topic at hand than guys do, because, yeah, they just don't work that way.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I feel like I think way more about things and, like, ask questions that, like, my guy friends or my boyfriend are like, what? Like, I would literally never have thought of that. Why are you even thinking of that?
So true.
Okay, but the next one, someone said community, and, like, for sure, as kind of how I was saying, like, that relatability, like, girls just get it, like, having someone that kind of just understands where you're coming from and, like, what you're going through and that kind of shit.
Yeah, and it's so important as well, especially, like, every girl faces some kind of, like, misogyny or, like, sexist comments, or, like, they feel unsafe. It's good to have people that relate to that and they kind of know how you feel in those situations. I mean, not that they happen so often that, like, that's what your whole friendship is based on, but it's important.
I agree.
The next one, when she laughs, I jump on the laugh train and crack up too without even knowing why. That's fair. Some people just have, like, really infectious laughs, or, like, if it's your friend, you're just on the same level. Even if you
I
don't
love
know
those
why.
moments when you just, like, literally are laughing and you don't even know why, and you can't fucking stop. It's, like, the best.
True.
Okay, and the last one for this question was, someone said, the empathy and care that we have for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, like, nothing like that good care in your friendships.
That nurturing female vibe.
That hot take. I love being cared for. I'm the only one, guys. Okay, let's move on to the next segment. We asked a moment where you felt closest to your female friend.
The first one is all sharing deep things about our life and having them understand every part of me. Yeah. You know, when you just feel like someone really, like, knows you and gets you, and you just kind of are like, yeah, okay, they get it.
Like, when you go to your friends with something that happens to you and you're like, I don't know if this is weird, or, like, you kind of think, oh, maybe this just happens to me, but then you end up having, like, an hour-long conversation with everyone telling their experiences with it. Yes, I love that. The next one is doing mushrooms with the girls in our house made us so close. That's what mushrooms
a bonding
do.
experience. Yeah.
They let down your inhibitions.
Next one, being at her daughter's birth, I felt emotional and honoured to be a part of this new life.
That's so cute.
Oh my god, that's really cute.
I always think about that. I was watching Sex and the City the other day, and it was, like, the episode where Miranda has a baby, and then, like, Charlotte was so excited about it, and I was like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
God.
imagine when we have babies.
Yeah.
Like, imagine seeing you birth a child.
So
that would be
amazing.
so, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is so deep.
You grew a child inside of you.
Yeah, oh my god, let's get pregnant, like, at the same time.
Yeah, should we actually? Remember when me, you, and Vio had
besties.
that plan that we were all gonna have triplets at the same time? And, like, make them get married. And live in a house together.
Yeah.
Really good plan. Like a little commune. Yeah. The next one is when you're in sync, like, they text you when you think about them, or other little coincidences. I love when that happens. This always happens to us, like, literally.
Yeah. All
every
the
day.
time. It's sick. You feel like, wow, we're so bonded, you know. We just felt each other's energy.
Yeah, me and my mum have that as well. Once she was like...
Yeah, I have it with my boyfriend.
She was like, guess what actress I'm thinking about? And then I was like, okay. She's like, it's someone we really like, but I can't remember their name. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I got it, and we were so excited about it. So in sync.
So in sync. Okay, the next one. just being together and they know what you're saying before you can even say it. Yeah, I feel like being friends with me, you need to kind of like get that down to a T, because sometimes I don't make any sense, or like I kind of just say half things and just, it doesn't really make sense, so you kind of have to put the pieces together.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's fun, it keeps you guessing. It keeps life exciting. Need a little bit of mystery in our lives.
Yeah, no, but it is cool when like when I do, I guess that's where like maybe I have to feel really comfortable with people, because like when people really get me, it's like when I feel like I can actually talk to them.
Yeah.
And shit, because otherwise it's like a little bit stressful.
If I'm not close with someone, I just won't say anything. I'll just sit there and observe until I'm like, okay, I kind of trust you now.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one is, 2 of my friends sent me presents when I broke up with my boyfriend and I nearly cried. That's cute.
Yeah, that's so cute. I remember when me and my ex broke up. Sorry, it's just quite funny because she sent this. So it's just like when me and my ex broke up and you sent me some sweet potato fries.
Oh, yeah.
So sad.
I forgot about that. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, it's so cute. Just like little details are so cute. I so get that. It's like you just feel so seen, especially if like, you know, it's kind of your love language, like little acts of care.
Yeah.
Have you always had loads of female friends, or like have you always found it easy to be friends with girls, or have you always had loads of guy friends?
Yeah, well, I've always had lots of female friends, and I've had a few friends that like I've been friends with for ages, obviously you, and then I have 2 friends that I've known my whole life, and another couple of friends that I've been friends with around the same time I've been friends with you. And when I was younger, I was definitely friends with lots of girls, like towards the end of primary school. So when I was like 9 and 10, I started becoming friends with guys. And yeah, I loved being friends with guys, actually. It's so easy. And because I always had like a little bit of a hard time being friends with girls, just because they're so bitchy when you're younger, and there's such exclusivity. Like, you have to have your best friend, or your group is really exclusive and you won't talk to other girls, and it's just so much drama. And as I said, I was like really shy, so I kind of just liked having my group and sticking to it, but that didn't really like happen for me. And then when I moved schools, I met you guys, and we were all friends in like a massive group of girls. And I didn't really make any guy friends until I was 14 or 15, I would say. So then I started kind of appreciating the value of having guy friends as well, because I think it's good to have a mixture, because you really appreciate your female friends more when you have guy friends. If you only have female friends, it can get a little bit intense, I think. Especially like below the age of 15, because it's just wild. Yeah. So wild. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. I always had like my girl group. Like I've always, I don't know, I'd literally, like when I was little, there were boys that we were friends with and stuff, but I don't know, they weren't like my best friends. Like I always had my super close girls, and like when I left Mexico, I was like distraught, like literally so upset that I was leaving my friends behind. And then after that, I still only really like made friends with girls, and I don't know what I've been thinking about, like why a lot. Like I never felt comfortable with guys, or like even if I was ever like talking to a guy or whatever, like I always in my head it was like it had to be like a romantic thing in some kind of way. Like I don't know, I never saw it in the same way that I saw girls, in a platonic way. And I don't know, I never found it easy to feel close with guys, whereas with girls, I don't know, it was just easier to approach, I guess. But I've always had my best friend or like my favorite kind of in the group. Like I've always kind of had a pair, like been in a pair kind of thing, which is kind of weird, or like a trio a lot, but then I feel like it always ends up with one is your favorite, you know? Like in the end,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Trios are so problematic.
Yeah, and I've been in so
We've
many.
been in so
We were saying
many.
we've been in so
Even before I was friends with you, I was in so many, and it was just not fun. It always ends badly.
No, but to be fair, I actually do love trios though, because I think hanging out in like groups of 3, like that's why it just works.
Yeah. You have to be like okay with the fact that 2 people will probably be closer at one point, but it does like it will hopefully switch up, and if it doesn't, then it's kind of awkward, like you're just third wheeling, so maybe don't be friends with them, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree with the bitchy thing, because I like when I moved to England, to London, I didn't like, obviously I didn't get anything, like I barely spoke English, I didn't really know what was going on, so I just kind of like fell into whatever I fell into.
Yeah.
And that was like two girls, and they were like best friends, and then that, as we were saying, became a little trio, and like they were best friends and I was kind of outside it, and like that was a lot of drama because like girls can turn really bitchy, and sometimes they would do like weird stuff. In the end, sometimes it felt like they all were like against you, and like we were all friends like at some point. I feel like they would kind of try to turn people against you, and like a lot of it became like jealousy and like petty shit. Like so much of it, I remember that was based off of insecurities and jealousy, and like
it's very competitive.
I feel like a lot of the time that can happen with a lot of girls in one group, and that
yeah,
kind
when
of
you're
shit.
younger especially,
like, it starts to turn like that.
It's so unfortunate that it's like that, because I feel like it is kind of a rite of passage. I haven't heard of anyone's experience not being like that when you're younger, and that's why when you finally do make male friends, you're kind of like, wow, a whole new world, what is this? It's so simple. But yeah. I think it's, yeah, as you said, it's always important to have like that one person that you can come back to. And yeah, I guess we've been friends for such a long time, like nearly 10 years, and we haven't always been like best friends, but I guess over the years it's evolved more, and you're like the one person that I would call my best friend. And it's so weird because for those people who don't have like that one person, we were kind of talking about it, how it does seem like a little bit of a childish thing to have someone that you're like, that's my best friend, like they're my one person, but at the same time it's so nice. You just have that one person that you always know how they're feeling, you're in sync, and you can have those conversations with and just be yourself around. And I think that makes it so much easier. Even if, like with our friendship, we've had ebbs and flows of being close, I think. And yeah, we've been through so much. Oh my god. The amount of friends and like groups we've been through together.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what I want to say. I feel like to a lot of people in our lives, and because of our fault, to be fair, also, I feel like our relationship is very idealized and very like, oh yeah, we're like each other's person, and like we're best friends, and it's like always such an emphasis of like, yeah, we're best friends. And a lot of people have been like, oh yeah, I'm so like jealous of that, and like I understand, but it wasn't, it's not like it's been like we just met and we were like, wow, we're like perfect for each other and we're attached at the hip now forever. And I know that like people do have that, and like great, like happy for you, but it's been sort of like it's the person that's always kind of there for me. And like I don't know, to me that's why like we have such a strong relationship in a way, because it's like even if we don't talk for a few days, like it'd be weird because you are like the person that I talk to the most realistically, but like I still wouldn't be like, I don't know, like it's shit could happen and I'd know that we would always like find our way back. And like there's been times that I've been like, oh shit, like maybe this is it.
Yeah.
I'm losing her, or like we're drifting, and like you have to like work on it, and like I guess part of it is like work on it and also give it time, I guess. I would say, like, I don't know, I think maybe look around you and like maybe you don't feel like you have that like best friend or whatever, that person that you can always turn to, but maybe there is that person that is like has just always been there throughout and just keeps coming back, and maybe that's like someone that you should focus your energy into or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but just saying, like, maybe that person has been standing there all along.
Yeah, and also like with anything, it's bound to have ups and downs. Like with a relationship, it's the same. With your sex life, it's the same.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think when you're younger, it can feel like such a massive thing because of that whole competitiveness and that whole, like, your friends are everything when you're younger, so it can definitely feel like life shattering to think, oh, my best friend, we're not as close as we used to be. And I remember at points like just feeling so devastated that we weren't as close as we had been before. And yeah, it was like we had a lot of points where it could have been like, okay, this is the end of our friendship, but going to uni and kind of having to accept that we have separate lives, even though we are like so entwined in each other's lives, is like we just have to honor that, and we always find our way back to each other. And as you said, I think that's kind of a measure of a very close friend, if not a best friend.
Another thing that I was thinking about, a huge drifting point, I don't know, to bring it back to dating and relationships, but it's like sometimes when your friends get into relationships and it's like you don't see them, you're not like talking to them like you used to because they're just so like involved with this other person, and you're like, fuck, like I'm losing them, what am I gonna do? And like, even if it's not a relationship, just because we're talking about those points that you're like, fuck, like I'm losing them.
Remember finding that so horrible when we were both in our first relationships. I hated it. I was like, no, like, she's mine, literally back the fuck off.
But yeah, and but I feel like that's like, and I completely understand it, because like I have done it in both my relationships. Like, you get really into this other person and you kind of like lose track of whatever's going on. But I think like that's a huge thing to like always be conscious of, because at the end of the day, like, you're gonna wake up and be like, shit, who am I even close to anymore? And like, to be honest, like, I'm kind of at that point now, and like right now it's not necessarily because it's like there's not much I can do about it. It's like COVID, I haven't really been able to see my friends, so my life has kind of started to just like revolve around just seeing my boyfriend. So like, he's kind of my only friend that I see. And then Honey, I talk to her all the time because of the podcast, so then it's like my two connections, but then everything else has kind of fallen apart, and it's like I'm not making the effort, and like it's been so long that it's like it feels so strange. Like, I don't know, friendships obviously change, and like I feel like a lot of people's friendships have even either like gotten super strong or like drifted, and it's like completely understandable because it's like a crazy time. But
maybe we should kind of talk about how our friendships have changed then throughout the years, because I think going to university, I found that so scary. And I feel like so much of what I'm saying is like, this was horrible and like I hated this in our friendship. But there was like definitely lots of points that stood out to me in terms of friendships evolving. One was obviously when I moved schools and I stopped being friends with so many people from my primary school. I mean, pretty much everyone. I don't talk to any of them anymore. And then both of us have been through a lot of friends and kind of solidified our friendship group. And I think we took for granted a lot of the time that we had that one group that we were friends with, and we're still so close with them now, because I meet so many people that don't have that group of friends from school. Maybe they made it at uni. So then for so many people, going to uni is like this big thing where they get to meet their people and like have a fresh start. Whereas for me, that was like fuck, I don't want to go to uni because I don't want to stop being friends with all these people. Like, I don't want to make new friends. I know these are the people that I am, like, happy with. I feel like I've gotten to a good place, and, like, I don't want to move away from that. So, yeah, kind of, how do you think that evolved for you? Like, were you happy to go to uni? And how do you think, like, our friendship has changed at uni, and how do you think our friendship has changed with other people since then? Because obviously we're getting towards the end of our degree.
Well, I think it's, like, super interesting that you say that you were, like, just scared, because rather than being like, oh, I'm gonna go find my people, you were like, oh, what if I lose my people? But, like, to me, I got to uni and I was like, oh wow, like, there's all these people that, like, don't have, like, super close friends. But to me, rather than, like, being afraid, I was like, oh wow, I feel like I'm in a great position. Like, I've met my people, like, I have my friends for life, I know we're gonna be friends, like, whatever happens. So, like, I'm good. I'm just, like, good to meet, like, some cool new people, like, potentially, like, some people I can be really close with, kind of on top of that. But I never thought that I would meet someone that I was like, wow, like, you have exceeded my expectations. You are now, like, the replacement. Like, I never kind of thought that would ever happen.
I wasn't, like, specifically scared of like, replacing you, because I don't think, like, at this point I'm pretty certain, like, that's not gonna happen. And because we go to the same university, of course, like, it wasn't such a massive distance that we couldn't stay friends. It was more so the other people that we're friends with. And I think university is, like, such a massive test of that friendship, because all those people then go meet all these other people, and I have felt that to a certain extent, that kind of, like, weirdly pulls the energy, even if we do all come back together, like, our group of friends from school, I don't feel that it's the same, and I get so, like, nostalgic to 3 years ago, how things were, or even before COVID, how things were, because we say all the time, oh, we used to have so much fun, and now I'm like, I don't know if there's going to be a point in our lives from this moment on that we're going to be able to, like, get back together and have that, like, same level of fun. As sad as that sounds, because we're only, like, 21, but I keep thinking ahead and I'm like, fuck, this is, like, the real world now. Like, this is it. How are we gonna maintain that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Sometimes I'm like, wow, was it just like, oh, these were, like, my childhood friends, and now I guess it's the end of the road? But, like, deep down, I kind of don't actually believe that, because then it's like, I actually love these people, and, like, I still feel like I know these people in some way, you know what I mean? Like, even if I, like, a lot of what I struggle with, I guess, since going to uni, and, like, I guess drifting from a lot of our other friends, and even, like, we drifted, like, we didn't really, like, see each other that much or speak that much, and, like, loads of people have asked me, like, how come you and Honey, like, don't live together, or, like, didn't live together, how come you didn't go to the same halls? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
if, like,
so many people ask me
yeah,
that
like,
too.
they're always like, if my best friend went to the same uni, like, we'd definitely, like, do that and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, why didn't we do that? And I think, like, I like, back to when I was 18 and going to uni and whatever, I was like, I do want to meet new people, because I know no matter what, like, we'll be fine, which is the case and whatever. But I think we've kind of, like, fallen back together because we started the podcast, and like, I guess, I don't know, we kind of just started talking a lot again and stuff. But I think for the start of uni and, like, second year in a while, like, we did drift, because we just, like, didn't see each other that much, and, like, didn't talk that much, and we were, like, kind of had other shit going on now, whereas, like, at school it's all so contained, and, like, you're all so up in each other's lives and worlds, and, like, now it's kind of like my day-to-day and my life looks so different. And everyone's does, like, of course. But I think if there's, like, a strong foundation, and if, like, you really genuinely, like, care for someone, or, like, love someone, like, you can make it work, and because there's all that love there, like, and I think that we will be fine. It's just, like, COVID has kind of fucked us up a bit, but we'll all come back together and have, like, amazing times again. And, like, I still have the same love for everyone. So
Yeah, me too. And yeah, in terms of what you said about uni, I think we did kind of both consciously or unconsciously make that kind of decision that we weren't going to live together, because like I think it was good for us, as much as I hated it, to like have that separation. And we definitely drifted a bit. Like I remember you definitely had a different attitude towards uni that I did. Like you were very into it. I was like, no, fuck this. I don't want to make any effort. I don't want to make any new friends. And I have made like a few really good friends, and I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, so I think we drifted in a way that it wasn't like, this is the, like, I never thought, oh, this is the end. It was more just now we have like different lives, and yeah, you kind of have to adjust to that. And yeah, if you can't adjust to that, then I think that's like the test of your friendship, you know. I even moved to fucking America for 3 months, and we were still best friends after that. So I think that's like a testament to what we can face, I guess. Yeah. But I guess let's maybe move away from like this part of the episode and talk more like in terms of, what do you think are the bad parts of being friends with other girls?
Oh, I was actually going to ask you this earlier. The bad parts. I really don't want to say this, but I'm gonna have to. Like, I'm so sorry. Hanging out with guys is like a lot. It's more fun sometimes, you know, because they just tend to be more chill and like laugh shit off. Guys are sometimes funnier. Like, I know funny girls for sure, and like I'm not saying that all guys are funny and all girls aren't funny. I know a lot of funny girls and a lot of unfunny guys, but like I feel like in general guys tend to be more jokey and shit. So that aspect is like yeah, I don't know. Like when I got to uni and then I just like was hanging out with just guys, like I just became I feel like I've become so much more chill since uni. I mean, there's like other factors to it as well, but obviously I don't think that's it. But like I don't know, I kind of like I kind of got surrounded with this like other way to just like live.
Yeah. That's so fair.
Not that girls aren't fun, because girls are fun as fuck, but
I think a lot gets misconstrued as well with girls, especially if you've been friends for so long, because you know how to like hit each other where it hurts if you want to. Like you can just make that low blow.
No, but the thing is, I feel like guys are more mean, like, but you feel like they mean it less.
Yeah,
because,
it's
like,
more unconscious. They just say shit without thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like a girl wouldn't say something like super mean. I guess, like, the thing is, like, girls are a bit more passive aggressive. Yeah. That's another thing. Like
because they think things through more. You know, they've been thinking that thing through in their head for like the last hour before they said it to you, and that's why it hurts.
Yeah. And then another thing, like, which is a lot, I guess, less lighthearted and stuff. Like, this happened kind of recently. One of our friends, she mostly has guy friends, and like all of her closest friends are mostly guy friends, and she has said to us, or like to me, plenty of times, like, you guys are kind of my only girlfriends, my only close girlfriends, shit like that. And we've talked about this a lot. She has said that she just like tends to find it hard to be friends with girls because they just like tend to be more fake and like judgy. And there's a lot more comments about like the way people look, the things people are doing, like in a more judgy way. And she like brought it up like to me in a phone call, like about something that I had said that was like straight up horrible. But I'm just so like ingrained in it kind of thing that like I just didn't even think. And like I'm not excusing it, of course. I apologize and like do better 100%, but like I think I do agree that conversations with girls can be like a lot more gossipy, and even though guys can obviously do that too, and like I've heard guys say such mean shit about like girls' Instagrams and stuff that girls would not say, like out loud at least. So it's obviously not like a rule, but I do see the like it's definitely like a bitchier, passive aggressive, judgy, like I do completely see that. And I was kind of talking to my boyfriend, and one of my guy best friends yesterday, like asking them, oh, what do you find is like different in the way you interact, like with your girlfriends versus your guy friends, like blah blah blah, or like the way the conversations are. And they were saying like girls can be a lot more sensitive and sort of like up and down, whereas with guys it's like more consistent, like you can always just like joke and give shit, and like guys will kind of just whatever. I don't know, this is what they were saying, it's not what I'm saying. They also said that, yeah, girls will talk more about gossipy, datey kind of things and like think things through a lot more. My friend said he'll come up with a plan or something and like tell his guy friends, and they'll all like hype him up and be like, oh yeah, like yeah, let's do it, whatever. And then he'll be like, okay, I'll check with like a girlfriend of mine first, and then he'll tell his like the girlfriend, and then she'll be like, what, like, are you serious? Like, you did not think this through? Like, did you not see this? Are you crazy? So yeah, I mean, I do see that like girls are a lot more like, they'll make you like talk and think shit more, whereas like guys are more like just hypey, I guess.
Yeah, I think with either group as well, there's like that herd mentality. Like, I don't know, when I've hung out with just guys, I'm kind of there. I feel like I'm on the outside, but I'm like watching this like other species just like have a good time, and then I kind of get caught up in it and I'm like, oh, this is great. But then with girls, like you were saying, it is like a lot more judgy and you talk about appearance a lot, and I think it's easy to like get so caught up in that. It's so annoying because I don't want to be like, oh, guys are like so much more fun and like they're like so much easier, because then at the same time I know that so many guys also like struggle to then get like more deep and they can't express how they feel. So I think both is like toxic in its own way. I mean, not toxic, but you know what I mean, like there's pros and cons.
I don't know, I think at least with my best guy friend, I keep talking about him, I'm so sorry, but it's just like this year we've gotten like a lot closer. But with him, with this guy who's straight and my best friend, we noticed recently that like he'll always be in the same mood with me, so then that's why like he's never even noticed that I'm like up or down, because he'll always just like take the same approach, and like I'm like, oh wow, that's like actually kind of good for me, because then it just makes me be like, okay, yeah, let's just like snap out of this or whatever, you know, whenever I am in a mood or things like that. And it's like so generalizing and whatever. And also like on the other side, I've made him like think about shit that he like would rather just brush to the side, and like we'll push him to be like, oh come on, like let's just like think about this, blah blah blah. And like I don't know, we kind of like balance each other out in a way, so it's kind of interesting.
I think that's like a massive thing about friendships, is that it's so important to balance each other out. And I've noticed that
exactly,
like, living with uni friends as well, I think that's a massive thing with people you live with, is I felt like I'm always on if I'm with the people that I live with. Like you're always like match their mood, everything is just like, you don't feel up and down in the same way. I think especially with COVID and like being at home all this time, you're so in your head, and then when you finally see people or speak to people, it's like, oh, I've just been really like thinking things through, guys, and like I don't know how I feel about this, and it's not like a fun time. Like that's what I was kind of saying, is like looking forward to the future. I think especially with like the lens of COVID, I'm like, how am I gonna have fun again? I don't know how I'm gonna like match people's moods. Are people's moods even gonna be like fun? You know, like the first night out at the club, what's that gonna be like? We're just gonna be like that awkwardly like hey guys.
No, I feel like we just have to like embrace it and live it up and be like, okay, like let's just go all out, like, you know, just fake it till you make it. Also, don't be like like I agree, like I'm on the same boat as you. I'm like literally concerned for my well-being in terms of like I don't know how to talk to people normally. I feel the same, but we're gonna be fine, because I feel like we will just get so excited and like we'll all just fall back into it, because as I said before, like there's just a lot of love, you know, deep down, and we can all just like fall back into the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely do. I do know those things. It's like it's been a tough year, you know. So I think it's only natural to really worry about it. But closing thought to end the episode is that, yeah, firstly, I'm so lucky and so grateful that I'm even in a position where I can like worry about losing friends. I feel so blessed to have found my people before university and still like know who those people are, and I think it's really helped me in so many ways to kind of get to know myself and get to know what I like. And it's just such an amazing feeling to be surrounded by other people that you really value and just think are cool, amazing, talented people that have the same interests as you. And to anyone who is worrying about finding their people, I promise you it will happen one day. Like, it's going to happen for you, and all you can really do is just like put out what you want to receive in. And you know, if you know yourself and you know what you really value, then you'll naturally surround yourself with other people who have the same values as you. But you always have someone there. Like, you should really look around you and just value the people that are there for you, because there's nothing more important, like especially in these times. We all need someone that we can come back to at the end of the day, and we should just be grateful for the amazing people that come into our lives. And even if you're not as close anymore, or there's people that have left your life, that's a natural thing too, and you shouldn't worry about that, and don't think there's like something wrong with you just because you're not as close with someone. It's just like a natural progression of life, and I should also take my own advice. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay and you love and appreciate your friends every day.
Yeah, for sure. You will find your people.
Yes, hopefully you find your Maria.
Yeah, hopefully you find your honey. I feel so lucky to have the friends that I do have. And like, I remember when I was younger, like, and I was really sad, and I used to always say like, oh, I feel like all my friendships have an expiration date, like people just get sick of me. And to now, like 6 years on from like me thinking those things, to have like friends that I was friends with at that time, you know, and like proving my whole theory wrong, basically. Like, I just feel really, really lucky. And like, even in times that I'm like, oh shit, like we're just not as close as we used to be, or like times that I'm like, I literally have like no friends, like
Yeah.
I do like, I don't know, I do feel grateful that I can be like, okay, come on, Maria, that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
there's all these people that actually like love you and care about you a lot. And saying that, there is like friendships ebb and flow, how we said before. Like, just because you're not close with someone now, it doesn't mean that you'll never be close again. And even if you aren't close again, like, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Like, people drift, you know, that's what happens. And yeah, I feel super lucky to have like so many girlfriends. Like, I feel like they add so much value to my life, and like have always felt like I have someone to relate or like teach me something new, or like explain something about my own body to me, you know, that I don't get. Like, I don't know, it's just like moments and memories that like I really can't, like, they're priceless, without sounding super, you know, mushy. But yeah, I feel super, super grateful, and I love all my girls and my boys.
Okay, well, on that note, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and a little reminder that we have an episode coming up where you can send us literally whatever you want. It can be a confession, like a little slutty confession moment, stories, like the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a date, or the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you during sex, or you're having problems with your boyfriend and you want some advice, or you're having friendship problems and you want some advice, literally anything. And you can send that in an email to us, or DM us, or submit it anonymously on our website, or send us a voice note, like record yourself speaking into your phone and then email that to us. So the ways you can do that is our email is sextraspodcast@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @sextraspodcast. Our Facebook is sextraspodcast. Our website is www.sextraspodcast. So obviously go follow all of those and like keep an eye out for things we have coming up, because we have some exciting things coming up and some exciting guests, and we want you guys to be there to witness it all. So yeah, you guys are our friends, our Instagram friends,
our besties.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a way you can interact with us more if you wish to, and we hope you're enjoying these Women's History Month episodes, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to Sextras, presented by Honey Jane Wyatt and Maria Jose Hayodatiyi. Produced by Mabel Productions.